Hello and welcome to this Dr. Ross Maths key skill video on describing a translation. Now a translation is just when the shape shifts from one place to another, but it doesn't rotate, it doesn't get bigger or smaller, it doesn't reflect, it just stays the same way up in the same shape and the same size, but just moves from one part of the axis to another. And the way we describe it is looking at what it's moved by horizontally and vertically. So the first step is to identify some point on the first shape. So we're going from A to B, so some point on A, let's just say the top, and then the same equivalent point on B. And then we're going to look at the movement from this point on the first shape to this point on the second shape. Remember that this is called the object, the original object, and this is called the image, which is a shape after it's being transformed. Now, how would you describe this movement from here to here? Well, you could say, well, it's 4 squares right and 1 square down. But the formal way to do it is to use something called a vector. And a vector is something which describes movement. So if we're describing this transformation, we would say it's a translation. Remember, you always need to say what type of transformation it is. In this case, a translation, a shift. And then you say a translation by, and then we give our vector to describe the movement. Now this top number here is what the x value has changed by, and the bottom number is what the y value has changed by. Now what has the x value changed by to get from here to here? Well, can you see the x value has gone up from -3 to 1. We can see that the x value has increased by 4. And therefore this change in x number at the top, we put a 4. What about the change in y? So the y value here on the object is 5. The y value here on the image is 4. So we can see that the y value has decreased by 1. So therefore the change in y is -1. And it's absolutely critical you get that sign right. If the y value is decreasing, i.e. it's going down, then that needs to be a negative number.